How's it going, everyone? It's Liam Callison here. It's Charmed. It's episode number 4 of season 8, where you can find, of course, my reaction in the description box, as well as the comment section, pinned, of course. So, yeah. You can also check out my full reaction to this episode, as well as what should just be posted on my Patreon feed, episode 17 of season 8, if you guys want to. But yes, be sure to leave comments in regards to this episode, in regards to this reaction, for me to read, and of course for the algorithm to get a bit of a notice. So yeah, but yeah, particularly interesting episode, I would say, this episode of Charmed. So yeah, but it did have a very, very, very amazing positive, and that is that from this episode onwards, I was able to watch, Charmed with the OG intro, because, of course, for the previous 3 episodes, I had to make do with the other intro, the one that was used as a part of budget cuts, because they couldn't use the OG intro for season 8 and all of that. So yeah, but we found a way. We all found a way, and order was restored, so yeah. But yes, as I said, the links are available, so I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction, and until the next time, toodles! Yeah, I mean, in principle, the idea of bringing back the source, it just seems very, very appetizing, and there is something that just kind of, feels a bit about the fact that, hey, we're bringing back the source. Yeah, it's only going to be for like 5 minutes, basically. Because that's what it felt like, really. I mean, there was all of this preparation and all of that, and, as we were, I guess, crossing into, like, the final half of the episode, more and more I got convinced about the idea that, okay, well, it's just going to be this plan. And before why, because, the source isn't just an average demon, and yet I just can't help but get the feeling that he was treated as such. I mean, of course, with the whole all hell breaks loose scenario, and, all the way till the middle of season 4. There was also a real effort to get rid of him, which Paige somehow forgot. Because that's it, though. She was like, "Oh, how did we defeat him last?" Girl, you were there. You were there when, there was this whole celebration, really, in terms of avenging Prue, and yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just can't help but get the feeling that with the source and how he was utilized in this episode, it's not just the fact that he only got like 5 minutes of screen time as well. It's also the way that he was dealt with. So it's a combination of not realizing that full potential. I mean, I feel like there could have probably been a amazing story, especially, I mean, it might feel a bit rehashed from season 6, of course, with Gideon and Wyatt, but I feel like there is so much potential in terms of, potentially getting at Wyatt, etc. Just to utilize him more than just this episode. Like, I would even be sufficed if he was, a half-season main antagonist, I guess. Kind of like with the Avatars and how they appeared until, like, episode, 13 or whatever, and then that was their story done. And then, of course, the threat shifted to Zanku. I would have been sufficed with even that. I mean, I just feel like you're going into your final season, etc., and there is a real opportunity to bring someone back from the dead in terms of your main villains, and potentially be able to utilize them in a really, really efficient manner. So, yeah. And I just feel like that was a missed opportunity with this episode, because I mean, it's not just the fact that he only got like 5 minutes of screen time, but he even said himself, hey, without the Hollow, you can't defeat me, etc., etc. And then he just got easily whipped because of the fact that Piper was able to take her aggression out on, I guess, Mandy, not Mandy. But yeah, she managed to take her aggression out on the demon that has been plaguing her this episode. And because there is a bit of a link between her and the source was easily dealt with. But bearing in mind, it was Wyatt's magic that was able to, without Wyatt, they couldn't have done the spell without Wyatt. So really, there should, see, even that itself, I know it's small crumbs, but even that itself has, I don't know, a better story going for itself in terms of, well, the source can't be defeated because he's linked to Wyatt, and it's not like you can vanquish Wyatt. I mean, that would be very, very dark, right? So, but even that has a better story going for itself because, I mean, there's no qualms whatsoever in terms of dealing with not just a demon, you know, that's the business for the charred ones, but someone who was really aggravating for Piper. It was just like, I've been waiting to do this all day long, and boom. Yeah, there's no qualms whatsoever in terms of dealing with her versus, you know, this real struggle in terms of a bond between Wyatt and the source. Maybe the source can use that to his advantage, etc. I know I'm trying to, like, say, okay, well, this episode could do with a bit of a rewrite, etc. But I just feel like it's a huge disappointment that you bring back someone like the source. I mean, he has a huge credibility. I say credibility. He has a huge presence, really, in terms of antagonists. For the show, and it just feels really, really sloppy in terms of, okay, let's bring him back for 5 minutes, let's vanquish him like he's nothing, and yeah, it kind of diminishes him a bit, in my opinion, because, I mean, yeah, you don't expect him to be as powerful as he was before, you know, being brought back from the dead. It's like waking up, isn't it? And, you know, you're not going to be fully alert until you have your morning coffee, maybe. But still, it does feel a bit, tacky, and it just kind of leads to a bit of disappointment because the source is a lot more than just a standard demon, and he was treated as such, in my opinion. So, yeah, and it just and it just makes me feel like they were doing this for the views and all of that. Hey, the source is back. So yeah. And then that was it, really, in terms of, hey, the source is back, say hi, and then say hi, bye, hi, bye, because we're not going to be utilizing it. Unless he somehow does come back, which would be a bit weird, considering, hey, we brought him back, you got vanquished easily, yeah, we're going to bring him back. Yeah. But honestly, when we actually entertained the idea of the source coming back, I mean, it did seem a bit skeptical because, I mean, like I said, it's been like 4 seasons since we last saw him, and you know, there was this whole thing about finally vanquishing him, getting vengeance really for Prue, and it did seem okay, well, that seems like a good end, and all of that. Bearing in mind, we did see the actor who played the source last season as well, so it's not exactly an impossibility. Of course, he was playing a different demon. One of the... What's the name of them called? Celerity demons? Yeah. So, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, he's just got such a big presence in this show, and yet in this episode, So, but yeah, I mean, it was nice to see the Source again. But at the same time, you just can't help but think what could have been. Like, they could have done what they did with The Flash, to be fair, in terms... And I know that was handled, yeah. But, I mean, they could have done what they did with The Flash in terms of their final season, or at least, you know, you had for the final, what was it, 4 episodes, I think it was, so... But, yeah. I mean, you just gotta... I mean, they even said Barbas... Tempest, they could be brought into the fold, etc. Zanku, I guess. I say I guess because we only just dealt with him, right? So, but he's still, you know, pretty cool and all of that. So, I would say Cole as well, but I feel like that story wrapped up very neatly, and it's not all like black and white with his character, is it? In terms of. Yeah, because of course there's quite the debacle with Cole, isn't there? So yeah, but yeah, I mean, it was just very interesting stuff dealing with Piper, who's, you know, got a lot of pressure and all of that. Like, she's being very, like, there was a lot of judgment, especially in terms of, like, I mean, people are going to be like, oh, you another cousin, etc. as well, because of course she has to have a new face, given, you know, the little situation in the last episode. But it was just very fun. It was very fun to see her and Mandy. Yeah. Like, especially with some of the condescending comments that the latter came out with in this episode. Like, even in the beginning, I just felt like there was some kind of aggressiveness, like little, I guess, passive aggressiveness there from Mandy, and yeah. Obviously, Piper's really worried, you know, about Wyatt and how people might, you know, or how the kids might, you know, pick on him, etc. And she's got a lot of pressure herself in terms of obviously dealing with the demons, etc. still, but also having this like, especially picking a new face, having this pressure on her shoulders. So yeah, but as well as that fight for normality, really, whilst Billy is still training. Of course, we've got to see a bit of that. And yeah, very efficient as well was Billy, in terms of blending in with the demons, and yeah, of course, there are still little bits and pieces to go with Billy, and of course, I expect some heavy focus on her in terms of, like, the next couple of episodes or somewhere, you know, around that time frame. So, yeah, because we're still getting to know Billy a bit more. But, you know, I do kind of like her energy at the minute, so, yeah, for some reason, and I don't know if it's because of the badass, you know, moves she pulls, but it's low-key giving me Buffy Season 1 vibes, I guess, like, especially that inexperienced, well, I wouldn't say inexperienced, but she was, still newish was Buffy, when Season 1 began. And, yeah, so, but, yeah, it was really interesting stuff. Gotta say, Leo did really need to keep his composure, given the fact that, hey, the Source is back. Not just that, though, but, you know, Wyatt's there and whatnot, so. But it's also the fact that he is so vulnerable as Leo now. So, he's in, as, like, compared to everyone out of him, Billy and the sisters, he's probably the most at risk, and he kept his composure when it came to Wyatt essentially being held hostage and the Source's return. So, yeah, especially since he was around, not like around for the final moment, I guess, for the Source in Season 4, but he was obviously around. He has been since the beginning, so he is aware of the threat of the Source, so yeah. And then there's the whole Dex and Phoebe situation. which still weeds me out because, I mean, there was that kiss in his first moment with Sylvia. It's just a hello. That's weird. Okay, cool. Interesting. I mean, I feel like it's just to try and stake a bit of drama and whatnot in a bit of risk in terms of Phoebe with the fact that she is saying, like all of the sources. Hey, funnily enough, the sources do check out. I've run the numbers. It can't be impossible. This is it. Dex is the one, and there is that little bit of added risk in terms of Paige saw Sylvia kissing, Sylvia and Dex kissing. So yeah, and usually you just worry that, oh god, they actually went for a full lips collision kiss and all of that. It wasn't just like a kiss on the cheek or anything like that. So yeah, but. Of course, there's still a little bit of history as well between Sylvia and Dex, so it's not like she's just a friend. There was a little bit of that history, so yeah. Although Paige handled glamoring as her really, really well. Really, really well. Man. But yeah, not too bad of an episode, although like I said, I feel like with the way certain things were handled, it could have been done a lot better. So, yeah, there is, of course, the continuity error that just sticks out like a sore thumb in terms of Paige. How did we deal with him last time? She just had amnesia at that moment or something like that, right? But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Check my videos on the right. If you want to check out more of my content, you can also subscribe to my media feeds and channel if you want to. Hope you guys enjoyed this reaction. Hope you guys take care, and I'll see you guys next time.